What up, y'all? It's the King. And I'm about to hit $600 trillion. And I think with that, I'm gonna let my character die. But we're gonna talk about it. It's part 2. Stay locked in.
Come to the place where the real ones learn. Lessons from the life and the tables turn. Weygn University. Yeah. We rise, we build, we earn.
So what up, y'all? I'm sitting here in the theater room. If you need me, you gotta beat me at this point. I ain't even talking on the phone no more. So I went old school and got me a beeper, pager, whatever you want to call it. And if you want to beat me, here's the number right here. You already got my email. So y'all got every way to contact me. Y'all got more ways to contact me than people who actually had my phone number or whatever. But this is how I'm doing things. Who had my phone number. But this is how I'm doing things. I figured everybody could beat me. And I could always just decide who I want to call, return the phone calls to, and all that cool stuff. But yesterday, well, not yesterday. Was it yesterday? It wasn't yesterday. It was like a couple days ago. I put the video out yesterday. But I say that to say, in the video, I asked the question, which was very valid. Am I invisible? Like, do y'all see me? Do y'all see my videos? Do y'all feel where I'm coming from? Am I saying anything that anybody relates to? Is this thing on? I really asked myself that question. And it's funny because my thing now where I'm at in life is real time. So I'm in a space of really like living in the moment with everything that I do, not thinking about the future, not thinking about the past, definitely for sure. Just really just enjoying every moment of life, whether it's me just sitting in the theater room, watching some TV, outside taking a walk, or even sitting here just kicking it with you guys. It's all gonna be in real time from here on out. So with the real time part of it, I started thinking about those questions that I was asking myself, because in real time, you post things and then you see the results, you see the views, you see the likes, you see the shares, you see all kinds of different things. I see it more with my shorts than I do like with my actual videos, but I'm noticing that my videos are starting to pick back up, even though the numbers seem low. Collectively, the channel got 100,000 views, which is a lot. You know what I mean? It's collectively across 200 some odd videos, but it's still 100,000 views. So that's a big thing. But it's still, when you're looking at the individual numbers, especially on long form content, you see like 12, 15, 18, 25, like you see those numbers. It's like we said in the last video, it starts to fuck with you. It starts to make you think maybe what you're doing isn't good enough. But it's really just coming to the realization of understanding that what goes on outside of you is outside of your control. It's really just an interview. I'm about to say an interview because this is an interview, so to speak. I just finished the interview with AI. Make sure y'all check that video out on the channel too. It's a lot of interesting stuff and cool stuff on the channel that you could check out, man. Like, even if you don't want to go to waynesworld.com and buy you a shirt, look at all these videos. I just told y'all 200 something odd videos on this channel that you can check out. But with all those videos, if I was still in that mindset, it would lead me to think that, like, I've made 200 videos, which you progressively get better at the things you do as long as you keep doing them, right? But imagine thinking that you're doing something over and over and over and over and over again, and there's just no growth because you're looking at external circumstances to show you what the growth is, right? Picture that. You got to really think about that. That's when I came to the realization. Hold on, I'm checking the email real quick, y'all. In real time, you know what I mean? Because I put the work in, though. That's why I came to this realization. I put the work in. I actually did the work. I actually got 200 something. You got to think about it. And I'm not trying to compare, but like the last project I dealt with, I was doing that for 4 years. And in 4 years, we did 200 episodes. Well, yeah, something around there. We hit like a 200 episode mark. So yeah, I did like 200 episodes. And I figured, like, because my first channel got deleted, this second channel hasn't been up for a full year yet, or it's probably just coming up on 1 full year. And I'm already up to like 250 plus videos. So I definitely put the work in. So I started to tell myself there's no reason you should be doubting yourself at all, because regardless of the people, not your situation, a lot like what you were saying in the last video, is just it's more so temporary than it being fixed, right? Because like I was talking about, how I had to deal with car breaking down, phone being off, like all these different things, which were just a result of where I landed in a space of not having the money to just do these things right then and there. Like it'll come, but there you land in certain spaces at certain times. It's like dates. Sometimes your birthday's on a Saturday. Sometimes it's on a Monday. Sometimes the shit's on a Wednesday. It just depends. Like sometimes it lands on a payday. Sometimes it lands on an off week. It just depends. So that's really what I was looking at. It's the same thing with the content. The content is there. I'm just waiting for that one viral push or moment of the right person to see it for it to go off to the races, because I've already done the work. So for those of you that have put the work in, that haven't quit, and to the ones that have quit, you got to think about it from a standpoint of this: get back to work, because the work is the only thing that speaks. The more and more you do it, regardless to whether it, because you got to look at it like this: you got to be willing to do the same thing in front of nobody that you would do in front of everybody. That's why I always say, and this is a weird space to go to, when people would be like, yo, I would suck for $1 million, and it'd be like, no, you would suck it for free, right? Because like, you're going to do what you love regardless to whether people are paying you or not paying you. So I'm going to make these videos regardless of to whether I get a check or not, until I get tired of making it, because I enjoy making these videos right now. Like I'm really in a sweet spot. I've always wanted to do this, let my voice be heard. But it was a long time that I would never get in front of a camera at all. Like I was a manager of artists, some famous, some not famous. I was always a behind the scenes guy, very popular in my own right, but I was always a behind the scenes guy. So now I'm really getting into being on camera, speaking on camera, like really enjoying, being content and all of that type of stuff. So that's the part. So you got to understand that as long as you put in the work in and you doing it with the purpose and the passion, when it all floods in, it's going to flood in. It shouldn't change, who you are at the core of you. You know what I mean? Because nobody's paying attention. That's when you should do it the best, because that's when you should have the most confidence, because there'll be nobody there to tell you that you can't do it. So when you start doing it, and once you notice that you're doing it and people notice, because I notice this with my comments a lot. Not so much my videos yet. Every once in a while, I got one hater, like y'all seen. Check out the one hater video. I got one hater that she'll speak on stuff every once in a while, and I love her for that. But I'm talking about like it hasn't hit yet where random people are just speaking on my shit. But with comments, and I noticed this when I was still on social media, because people will start to speak their adverse opinions on things that become popular. If you know you popular, or what you're saying resonates, then it'll become popular. It might not be popular today because people haven't consumed it, but it'll become popular. But I've noticed that in my certain comments that go viral, because my comments been going viral forever. So when the comments go viral and they get 5,000 likes or whatever, people will start saying things adverse to the comment, because it's human nature for us to want to get attention off of what's getting attention. Right? That's why when I look at my videos, I'm not worried about it, because I understand, like, I can rest now. Y'all notice I sat back with my, like my Paris Dunks. These is like my favorite pair of sneakers. Everybody know I love these sneakers. But, like, you can rest in understanding that when the floodgates open, it's going to be coming from every which way. And plus, it gives me the opportunity to be able to have the discernment as to who I should engage with versus who I won't engage with when the floodgates do open. Because it's good. And there's so much of it, you're not even going to be able to physically see or manage yourself, because it's going to be so many comments. Some of these videos get thousands of comments. How can you sit there and read thousands of comments? It's impossible. Like, it's possible, but who has the time to physically do that, right? But understanding that I put the work in is what started to kind of ease those nerves and give me the confidence to say, like, it's here. I put 200, like think about it from that aspect though. Like put yourself in my shoes. I have 250 plus videos on my channel right now currently. Where in that equation would it be some timidness? You know what I mean? Like, because people who timid ain't making one video, let alone 250 plus, especially after you done made 2 and ain't getting no response. You gotta think about that. 2 videos, most people are like, fuck this ain't working. So, like, think about it. I had to go from 1 to 50 and be like, what the fuck? And then get to 100 and be like, oh my God, when is this going to be? Like, and this is real things I've gone through in real time, like really like sitting in the pit of myself, doubting myself because like nobody's responding to it. But I kept moving, like, cause I'm figuring out the system in real time, like the game. That's why I hit the game for $600 trillion. That's not something everybody's doing. Like everybody not playing that game and making $600 trillion. These are the things you got to realize, and you'll see the different cues that, or the different breadcrumbs that'll keep you moving along the trail to show you that you on the right path with everything that you're doing, or whatever. So, yeah, the confidence will grow as long as you don't, regardless to whether anybody's clapping or booing, the confidence is going to grow as long as you're reflecting to yourself that you're capable of doing it. So that was the biggest part, or my biggest takeaway from what the last video was saying to me. It's really dope in real time. And the progress is slow. Like we think things supposed to happen fast, but the progress is slow. I feel like I've been doing this on my own on this channel. Like I said, it's been less than a year. That's not really a long time at all when you think about it. When I think about it, I really haven't put in a whole lot of time with it. Like I've gotten really good in a short amount of time with doing these videos. But for most people, it takes years and years and years. Or like you look at a business. I remember they would say something about business. They said, most businesses don't start turning a profit till after year 5. I started turning a profit after year 1 with my business, but I understood systems and I started implementing things. So that's really it. It's a science to everything. So once you learn the science, there's going to be a trial period where you're just hitting and missing. But the whole time you're gathering data so you can kind of learn the science and put it together and then get a flow. So I think that's the biggest takeaway from the game too, is it built my confidence. And it's a game, y'all. But y'all gotta understand, games are like real life. They teach you like real life. They levels. It's levels to life. It's like math class too. It's so many different things you could compare to each other to understand how life really works. I think about math class, how it's full of problems from kindergarten to the 12th grade. In kindergarten, the problems might be 1 + 1. You gotta figure it out, it's 2. In the 12th grade, what is it? The calculus and shit, the equations, I don't even remember, but you got to figure them out no matter how difficult they are. So that's the part about being at this level where I've kind of been, I'll use the word stuck at, and it's more stuck with trying to figure out like what's the right code to the combination to pass this level, right? And it takes a lot because it's a mixture of where I've been and being familiar with that, but then understanding where I'm going. And that's where that game came in. It taught me a lot of things about like the way things work on a very, very lunar level. And I'm talking about $600 trillion, right? And I'm not talking about physically, I got $600 trillion sitting on this ottoman. No, but literally your subconscious doesn't know the difference, right? So I'm looking at it like I'm counting up 600 trillion, but in that I'm learning the different complex ways that, because I've been a millionaire before. When I say a millionaire, like I've had, the most I've seen at once was, the most I've had on me at one time was like 378,000, but I've definitely like been in being worth $1 million, right? But we talking about multi-millions going into billions and trillions. That does something to you psychologically. Like you can't think there and then go back to regular think, or you can't think there and then think you're not going to, you know, that exposure doesn't do something to you and who you are and what you're doing it for. So, it's funny, and it's funny how this shit, I'm sitting here smiling because I'm thinking about things like real time. In real time with me playing this game, I've been playing this game literally for the last 2 weeks. And in the last 2 weeks, it's really started like moving and shaping. And that's why they say like sometimes just rest. Like sometimes just sit down and do nothing. And then doing nothing, I do shit like play a little game on my phone and shit like that. And it turns into a lesson that you would have never thought that you could get from this application, literally. So it's kind of an emotional peak for me, right? Cause it's this shit, and when I say emotional peak, I've experienced every emotion, like happiness, sadness, crying tears, like being pissed off, ready to punch holes through walls, not in walls, but through walls, literally and figuratively, both. So it's like to get to this point of realization is more of an emotional thing for me, but I feel like the deeper message is the goal might not be able to hold on to any version of yourself forever. And I think that helps you grow. I had to learn that even within, the game, and understanding I made 600 billion with this character. And now I want to let him go because it's like, while I'm just looking at him, he just standing there. He's accomplished everything. Like, what's next? What helps you keep growing? It can't just be this one focus. So that's another big piece of the puzzle, is understanding that the lesson from this is I don't know, what am I trying to say, y'all? Hold on, let me gather my thoughts. Oh yeah, I finally got my thoughts, y'all. It's evolution, right? Because I was saying in the last video, part 1, make sure y'all go check it out. At the end of the video, I said maybe I'm in the wrong room, right? And so y'all know, like from last time, I'm in a different room now. I'm in my theater room. So I've figuratively switch rooms. Well, literally, but like figuratively, it's like move around, evolution. You have to evolve. Like that's the biggest part of all of this. And it got me to seeing that, through the last few months of this journey, I've been expecting a different result from the same actions, right? I've just been doing the same things over and over and over. And they've served me a great deal, but I feel like I've come to a point now where it's just time to evolve, pivot, and move to the next thing. So, I guess the question is, I figured out the system. What's next? Part 3, I'm guessing, because this is part 2. Make sure y'all watch part 1. And with that being said, I'm going to kick back and watch some TV, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Put my sunglasses on so I can say, peace.